Welcome to Two Humans Talking, the podcast where we talk about what it really takes to stay healthy and be healthy in today's modern, fast paced world. I'm Tiffany, and I am here today with Kerri. And if you are a woman who has ever felt like no matter what she does, she cannot control her cravings and keep her hands out of all the little snacks, no matter how much she wants to, today's episode is for you. I hope you stick around. And so let's just jump right in. Kerri and I are instantly besties.
Oh
We
yeah.
were just chopping it up before I hit record. So Kerri, let's catch everyone up with us. Like, who are you? Where are you from? What makes your besides food and exercise? What makes your soul sparkle?
Ooh, good one. Love that. Okay. So first, my name is Kerri Pagliarini. I call myself the sugar knockout coach. Because we focus on sugar addiction. I call it sugar addiction. It can feel like an absolute addiction. I've argued with people about it. Listen, it lights up pleasure centers in the brain. Okay. It can be an addiction. So I actually came into this work after overeating sugar, like a lifetime of overeating sugar, right? Since elementary school. Just binge eating on sugar. I love sugar. Okay. Like I tell people all the time, I love sugar. Life is really short without chocolate cake. Okay. If you ask me, like it really just is. But I had a lot of health issues. I had migraines. I had a lot of stomach issues, right? Digestive issues. I also had hormonal issues, which ended me up in the hospital. And that was my wake up call. Like much like this call today, like I felt like stuff was happening to me and I had no control. And I'm like, no, we can't do this. Like I got to figure this out. So I ended up working with a health coach. And at the same time, I read a life-changing book called The Body Ecology Diet, all about overeating sugar and candida overgrowth. Changed my diet and lifestyle, and whoo, the body can heal itself by itself if you actually give it the tools to do so, right? I know, Tiffany, you think so, right? No more migraines. Like if I get a migraine, it's maybe once every other year versus 3 to 4 times a month. And I know it's coming. I know I've been, getting off track and not taking care of myself. I know that's going to happen. Hormonal issues gone, right? Well, I'm in perimenopause, so it's different. Like the old one's gone, right? It's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing when we give our bodies the fuel and the tools to heal itself. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I love that. I
Yeah.
share all the time to people like our bodies are so smart. Because people like, so when I work with people, they always want like a meal plan. Just tell me what to
I
eat. Give
know.
me the plan. And they're like, and I'm like, I can't do that because one, we're each so
I
individualized.
know.
And what I enjoy on my taste buds and what you enjoy are different, and what my body will tolerate and what yours are different. And our bodies are so incredibly smart. They sweat when we're hot, they shiver when we're cold. We don't tell it to do that. But yet our
Yeah.
whole life we've been taught to not listen to all its little signs and flags and like little like love notes it's sending to us. And so it's like it was designed to actually live an optimal life, and we just never learned how to use it properly and be in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like
Yeah.
when you said that, I was like, "Oh my God, yes. I don't know where this came from. I just started this the other day."
I
Like
love it. Keep it.
but it's true, like our bodies were designed to thrive, and
Yeah.
we've just been conditioned to survive. And I think that's
Mhm.
why so many people are stuck in that like cycle of like, I don't know what's happening. But before
Yeah.
we get there, where are you from and what lights your soul on
Oh.
fire?
Yes. Okay. So I am originally I grew up in Rhode Island, smallest state. Then I made a quick trip to New York City for 13 years before I settled
A
in
quick trip,
Florida.
a quick trip.
I was like, I want to go and check out city life. And then I was like, after 13 years, I love it. Now I need to be near a beach. So, really, like, what lights my soul on fire is being close to the water. I love the water. I feel like it is so healing. That's why I was like, grew up in the ocean state. Like, I was like, I just got to make my way down and still be around. Oh my gosh. Yep. You get it.
I do get it.
You get it. Tomorrow on my self-care day, I'm like, I'm gonna go walk the beach for a couple hours just to like be near it. And also just connecting with amazing humans like really lights my soul on fire. When I was younger, I was very shy. I'm so glad I came out of my shell because I'd be missing out on all these opportunities.
Yeah. It's funny about being shy. I'm not saying that's not it's not real, but people who grew up feeling shy and then they find their people, it's like, oh, I
Yeah.
wasn't shy. I was just around people that either didn't see me or appreciate me or that I didn't actually connect with. And so I kept to
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that for sure. Because now the people I love, like, hours go by.
Yeah. Was there anything in particular, like, did you have to work through that, or did just one day you just met the right human and all of a sudden the shyness was in your past?
No. So, funny story. I always got some funny stories. I was like, I want to be an actor, but I'm kind of shy. Like, how do I do that? Right. So I took some acting classes and then I moved to New York City and I was like, well, what's the best job to come out of your shell? Oh, wait tables. Like that's so cliche. Like you're an actor and you also want to wait tables. But it was great because it forced me to like talk to people and read people. And I'm like, I mean, I could talk to anyone. Then I had a job in sales forever, but and those are actually great to have, right? It's like you can talk to anyone about anything, but do you want to? No, I want to talk to the people I can have meaningful conversations with. Like that's who I want to connect with.
Me too. I'm not a big, like, some people really love like surface level chit chat. I can't stand it. Like, if I'd rather have a one-on-one conversation like you and I are having, and like go there and be like, did I overshare? Probably not, because we all got like, I want to
Yeah.
know you as a human, like,
Yeah.
not like surface level chit chat. Like, I can't, it's just not for me. I really like, I prefer going deep with people and like
Yeah.
actually connecting heart to heart.
Hmm. And I think this probably happens to you a lot too. I'll be in a networking group of 40 women and I'll be in the corner with someone who thinks they're oversharing with me. And I'm like, nope, I love it. Tell me more. Tell me more.
You're like, no,
Tell me
this is
more.
real.
Yeah, this is great. I don't care about what's going on over here. Like, this is a real conversation. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Funny you say that in networking events. I am like the worst person to go to networking events if I knew you before the event, because I've taken on this role of like, if I'm done, it's my response. I've taken on this role of it being my responsibility to go connect with other people. And if I go with you and we already know each other and I
Mm,
sit next to you, well, then I'm naturally going to be attracted to talking with you, processing
yep.
things with you, things like that. So it's like if we went someplace, we'd walk in the door and I'd be like, go meet some amazing humans, grow our network, and I'll see you in a little bit. And I
Yeah.
would go force myself to sit next to new people to get to know them, because otherwise I wouldn't. I would
Yeah.
stick to what I know, and then
Yeah.
I wouldn't be meeting anyone at a networking event.
I know. I know. I actually have to make a like conscious effort because I belong to a couple women's groups and I know a bunch of them. And I'm like, "Oh, you're all sitting at my table. And oh my God, I want to sit with you guys, but I have to go talk to other people because, yeah, same.
And good friends should nudge you when you're sitting next to people that
Yeah.
you already know and be like, you came here to make new friends today. Go play like musical chairs real quick.
Yeah. Real quick. I know I have a
Real
neighbor who's
quick.
like, you're so great at that. I'm like, okay, so like you have to get up now and you have to go do it too. You can't just sit here and wait for people to come up to you. Wouldn't that be nice? But
I know. I love this because at networking events, I used to be really, really uncomfortable at them. And
mm,
so I would eat in the corner
oh,
to occupy myself.
yes,
Because I
done
was
that.
afraid to talk to new people. I didn't know what to talk to them about. I didn't really know how to interact with other people. And so I would just go to the food line and just stay off to the side and just casually eat, so it didn't look like I was
Yeah.
a loner.
Yeah.
But like I would overeat at events like that because
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know how to like be a human in society, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, also stress and anxiety, right? Sometimes that's our coping mechanism is food. Did it
yes,
for a long time. Sugar.
the habit of hiding and not being seen and that
Mhm.
coping, right? Like I
Oh,
love that
yeah.
you said that, because so many times we talked about this before we hit record. So many times women want just the meal plan. And it's like, I could give you a perfect meal plan where the maths,
Yeah.
but the math doesn't take into consideration that you're a human with a
Yeah.
lifetime of coping mechanisms and habits that allowed you to
Mhm.
survive to now. Like
Yeah.
the math part of it, mathing,
Yeah.
doesn't help you as a human who needs to overcome her stuff.
Yeah. Because if it did, we'd all just fill out this equation. We'd all eat the same whatever, and we would all be fit, and there'd be no issues, and there'd be no candy. There'd be no any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny what you said earlier too. Like, just give me a meal plan. People are like, well, just tell me how many carbohydrates to eat. I'm like, oh, that really doesn't mean anything to anyone. How do you feel when you eat certain food? That's what we got to talk about. Let's
Yeah.
just do that.
Right. It's like, okay, if I know that carbohydrates, education part, what do the different foods group do for me so I know what my body's asking for? Because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, every day at 3 o'clock, I go for a Snickers and a soda. Okay. Well, let's pause for a second. You're
Yeah.
not wrong. Let's pause and ask what's really happening. Your body's tired. It's feeling low energy. It's feeling a little like it doesn't have enough juice for the brain. And so
Mm-hmm.
you're looking for a quick pick me up. And so if
Yeah.
you know that and then you go, "Oh, if my body needs some energy, well, I know that carbohydrates like fiber-filled sustainable carbs have energy in them. That's what they're for." So you mean I could actually eat a meal right now and feel satisfied and it actually not make me feel icky and tired in an hour? So I can eat real food
Yeah.
and feel good about myself and go about my day and have all the energy in the world. Like
I know.
your body wasn't wrong for craving the candy bar.
Yeah.
It was trying to tell you something. It was going,
Yeah.
I need some energy. And this is the only thing I've known up until this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's more about being curious, like you said. Like let's like right instead of we got the mathing over here. Let's do the science. Like let's just go back to like what did I eat? I literally just talked about this today. Like what did I eat and I'm hungry an hour later? Clearly there was something in that meal that I needed more of, less of. Let's just figure it out. When you're curious, there's no shame, there's no guilt, there's no blaming yourself for not having ready the word willpower.
Willpower and discipline are not a strategy.
No, nope, not for sugar
But
either.
and neither is, oh, I hate this phrase. Oh, I know it's intentions, but when people say like you have to hate it, you have to be so sick and tired of being sick and tired, like
Yeah.
that's what gets you off the couch, but it can't be the thing. You can't build something beautiful out of hate.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's a great motivator. I was terrified when I was so sick, right? And I needed surgery. That motivated me for a few months. But once I saw when I was getting better, guess what? Started craving sugar again because I'm a human with a human experience and life is happening to me and I can't just live in fear. There are
Not
other
to
things I need to find
mention,
and motivate.
I say not to mention that sugar literally has a chemical reaction in your own body that triggers all the things to give you the munchies. And so now you're beating yourself
Yeah.
up because you ate the candy that you knew you didn't actually want. And now you can't have the munchies and you can't control it. So you're beating yourself up some more because you're like, what's wrong with me? And it's like,
Yeah.
nothing's wrong with you. Your body's digesting what you just ate. And now it thinks you're hungry because you triggered off the little hunger
Yeah.
hormones. Like,
Yeah. And then we feel bad and we manage our emotions with sugar, right? So it's this whole cycle. Feel guilt
yeah,
and shame. I eat sugar. Oh, I shouldn't have done like I did that for the longest time. I mean, eating
yeah.
bags of jelly beans for dinner at
Well,
home
it
by
feels
myself.
good at first. And so,
Yeah.
like you mentioned that earlier, like dopamine and serotonin are a real thing, and that hits the
Mhm.
pleasure zones and like triggers the thing the same way drugs do for an
Yes.
addict. Like, and then beat ourselves up because we can't just stop because we thought it. It's like,
Yeah.
I got to give myself some grace
Hmm.
and some time and learn about myself and make new
Yeah.
patterns.
Yeah. And the curiosity, right? Like, why am I doing this? Like what and what do I need to fix it? Yes, stress can trigger that, right? But how about boredom? How about sadness? How about whatever? Is it setting a
When I
boundary?
am uncomfortable or don't want to do the task, if I'm uncomfortable because I don't know how to do the task I'm working on, or bored and I don't want to do the task I'm working on, I still to this day catch myself in the kitchen because I work from home. And also I'm like,
Yeah.
Tiffany, what are you doing? You're not
Yeah.
hungry. It's not a shame or guilt. It's just like that pause of like,
Yes.
oh, we're uncomfortable. You're bored. You're avoiding. Get back to
Yep.
work or go take a walk. Like, if you need to distract yourself, we're going for a walk now. Like,
Yeah. Yes. And it's the tuning in, right? Like, and that just takes time. And you just got to tune in. Like, what do I really need instead of this cookie right now? Because I can mindlessly eat a whole bag of cookies before I'm like, oh, something else is bothering me. Maybe I
yes.
should have thought about that two cookies in.
And at the same time, when you're intentional, this is something that took me a long time to learn and that some people don't get. But like, there's nothing wrong with having the cupcake. It's
Hmm.
the intentions and the moment that you're in. And
Yeah.
some days, and when you're fully in tune, sometimes someone's gonna offer you a cupcake and you're just gonna be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Then there's other
Yeah.
times where you're gonna be like, yeah, I'll take that and it will be delicious. But like,
Yeah.
what are your intentions? Are you drowning your sorrows and eating out of stress and anxiety and like
Hmm.
numbing? Because you're trying
Yes.
to, I don't know about you, Carrie, but like I used food as a way to, I learned to use food to regulate my emotions and my nervous system as a way to calm. Like even to this
Hmm.
day, I can eat a peppermint patty and feel my shoulders.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's
And so,
I love what you're talking about right now. You know, what's funny. So in Chinese medicine, they talk about the expansive and contractive,
mhm,
and stress is super contractive, and sugar is very expansive, right? Feeling stressed, feeling tight. If you're like if you're not intentionally doing it, you've been so used to reaching for it, then you're like, it's all so
the same with
connected.
people who enjoy a glass of wine at the end of the day.
Mhm.
They've created, thanks, Zoom. Zoom approves.
Thank
Um,
you. A wine was what was the trigger word? I wonder. Anyway.
But it's like, so we create the patterns of like you have that bad day and you come home and you have that glass of wine and all of a sudden your body relaxes the moment it hits your tongue.
Yeah.
Like it didn't even have time to metabolize for
Yeah.
it to do anything for you. Like it's those little habits that we create
Yeah.
unknowingly that we
Yeah.
have to then just become aware of, like you said, and start getting curious and explore other ways to handle the same thing.
Yeah. And I love that you said intentional and you can eat that piece of cake, right? I don't want to be the person at the birthday party that's never eating cake, but if I feel like having cake, I'm absolutely going to do it. And I give them the tools to do that. That way they're not eating the whole cake, or they don't want to eat cake 5 days in a row. It's like, how do you unhook if that like sucks you back in? It's very
Yeah.
easy to unhook once you know your body,
Yes.
tune in. Yeah. It's
Yes.
amazing.
And also the intention piece and it coming from a place of like just love and desire rather than
Yeah.
like that scarcity of I shouldn't and that like fear of I shouldn't. Because how many times when you were dieting or doing a sugar detox and you weren't supposed to and you're like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna live a little, I'm just gonna take a bite. And next thing you know, you're half a cake through and you're
Yeah.
like, and you can't stop. And now you've eaten everything at the party and hope no one noticed you
Yep.
as you're like shoveling
Yeah.
food in your face. Is that just me?
No, it's not at all. And that's totally human nature. And that's why I talk to people. Like, if you tell me I can't do something, all I'm thinking about is how much I
Is
want to do
that
that thing.
thing. But
Yeah.
when you bring the awareness into your body and you give yourself time to learn yourself,
Yeah.
then you can eat the cake and it not trigger something. Or if it does, you have the space to go, oh, well, duh. All right, I need to have an extra serving of veggies every time I eat the
Hmm.
next few days to just like help replace some things out of here.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, no, that is like the one spot I'm really good with someone saying knowledge is power because
Yeah.
you're taking that information and then like doing something active with it.
Yes. And so we need that education, but it doesn't need to totally rule our decisions, right? I'm not counting calories. I'm not counting carbs. I'm listening to what my body is telling me when I eat food, right?
Yes.
That's it. And that takes time because I don't know if you like Brene Brown, but she's like, we tell everyone to listen to our gut, but we haven't tuned into our gut in so long that we're like, do we trust it? Am I just having a nervous feel? Like, is this an outside influence? We got to really sit and think about
I
that.
just got goosies because I feel that to the core of my being. And
Yeah.
I, to the core of my being, believe that when a woman can trust herself to know what to pick off of a table in front of her,
Yeah.
without worrying about the perfect plan, but just knowing
Mm,
how to select food that's best for her for what's available to her. And she can trust herself with that. All of a sudden, she's no longer questioning that weird feeling she has
yeah.
of, am I being too sensitive? Am I being dramatic? I just
Yeah.
have to push through or they're going to think I'm not cut for it. It's like those are your body's warning signals of saying, like, yo, dude, we need a skill we don't have, a boundary
Yeah.
we don't know how to hold. There is something here that is not working for us. And, like,
Mhm.
hello, I need you to pay attention because
Yeah.
as is, we're not safe. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you're saying no to the things that you were never meant to say yes to.
Hmm.
And you live a
It's so
whole different
powerful.
life.
Yeah. It's and it's so powerful, right? Setting a
Yes.
boundary is so powerful. And I'm like, we are talking about stress and fight, flight, or freeze. I'm like, I live in freeze. I just need to analyze this. What just happened? I'm totally caught off guard. Right? Because it's the not dealing. So I can use like the sugar to like also numb, like numbing on a whole nother level. But when I
Numbing to
actually,
stay frozen in your in your shit.
yeah, I had a coach that used to
I'm
say, you got to
already
sit in
stuck.
your
Let me
shit. I
freeze
know.
myself even more.
Yeah. I'm not moving, but I'm eating sugar while I'm here, and that's making me feel better for the moment. Um, I don't even know where I was going with that. I just got so excited to like talk about that, right? As we're like giggling. Oh my gosh, this is
Because
amazing.
it's so real. The giggles are there because it is so real.
And we've all done all this stupid crap, right?
And
Like
it's the shit
really.
that no one wants to talk about because it's embarrassing and you think it's just you. And then you learn that it's like,
Oh,
no, this is everyone. So why do we say that this is normal and typical? It's like,
mm,
it
normal.
doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Nope. I know. In high school, I wanted to be normal. And then in college, I was like, now I want to be unique, right? From college on, I'm like, now I just want to be my own person. Like once we start feeling secure in who
But
we
what if
are.
normal was like, this is what you and I talked about this. This is what Kerri and I are doing. Like, we're on a mission to make listening to your own body and knowing what your next right decision for you is in any given moment
Yeah.
the normal.
Yeah.
Because being out
Yeah.
of control isn't supposed to be the
Mm-mm.
normal.
Mm-mm. And what is right for you, not what your mom thinks you should do, not what your neighbor thinks you should do, like what is right
Not
for
what you thought
you.
you were supposed to do 10 years ago.
Yeah, and you're still having regret and feeling shitty about that. Let it go. Right? What is good
Hmm.
for you now in this moment? And when I talk to people about tuning in and listening, and you must get this with intuitive eating, people just tell me, or I just don't know. I'm like, that's okay. You don't know right now, but in a couple days, maybe you will. You just
I
got to
was like,
keep doing it.
I always like when someone's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, if you had to know, what would your answer be?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah.
If you had to know, what would your answer be? And then giving someone space to just sit with that and be uncomfortable in it,
Mm,
because that goes back to just the listening part. The
yeah.
answer's in there.
Mm,
We've just never been quiet enough or felt safe enough to let it come to the surface.
yeah. Yeah. And I had a coach that used to say, you need to sit in the shit because she's like, you have to be in the uncomfortableness so that you know what is making you feel uncomfortable, right? Because there's all
Yes.
these things and it could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
And you got
And
to
we
figure
always
what that
think
is.
that it's just the food, but it's like everything else that goes into the food, right?
Yeah.
We
Well,
like, well, depending on the season that you're currently in. I was gonna say, we eat very little in the day, but I know that there have been seasons where all I've done is eat.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but when I look back, like I love that version of me so incredibly much because she never stopped fighting for herself, even though she didn't know which way was up. She was always
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah.
And so if you're listening and you feel like you've done all the diets and all the things and nothing's working and you're so frustrated with yourself, I get it. You can be frustrated. I also really encourage you to take a minute to celebrate yourself, because if you're still here and you're listening to this podcast right now, you're still fighting. You didn't give up, and that is worth
Mm-hmm.
celebrating.
Yeah. And we don't do it. We don't do it. I had a friend the other day literally say this to me. You need to celebrate that win. I was like, oh, am I not celebrating it? It's like I thought I was, right? But I was like, if I celebrate it too much, I'm going to jinx it and then it's not going to go to the next level. And I'm like, no, I need to be in this moment and enjoy this moment. Celebrate that.
So funny you say that, because I recently realized that I don't always celebrate in the moment because I've already accomplished it in my head before I ever got there.
Oh, oh,
I've already experienced the whole spectrum of emotions the moment I visualized it. And so
yeah,
then when it already
yeah,
happens, it's just like, what's next? And like,
yeah.
that's not a really good place to be either. Because it's great to already to see it, experience it, and go after it.
Yes.
But if you can't be present in the moment that it physically becomes a real
Yeah,
memory, not
yeah.
just that. I wrote this in my journal this morning, Kerri. Yesterday I wrote big goals. Today I wrote future dreams, or future
Oh,
memories is what I called them.
oh, I like that phrase.
Instead of
Future
goal, I was like, my
memories.
future memories.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so like, but if I don't learn to live in the moment when those memories are physically being created, then
Yeah.
I'm not really honoring myself either, because it takes a hard work to get someplace.
Yeah.
A lot of
And
hard work.
yes. And the visualizing and all that ahead of time, like feeling it and be like, that's so great. Like I'm missing that piece. Right. And then you can like celebrate in the moment. But yeah, I think as women, we just don't celebrate enough because we are so what's next? What's expected of me next?
I've already
Versus,
talked about it for so long. I've been working on it for so long. Like, yep, on to the next thing. Like, that was
yeah,
great for a millisecond. I'm so proud for the millisecond.
yeah.
and that ties back into our eating habits,
Yeah.
numbing
Yeah.
out. Oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
is that just the replacement I had for numbing out on food?
Is the next best thing or the next like future project? Huh.
I I'm gonna have to journal on that. I don't know the
Yeah.
answer in this moment, but I
Okay.
hmm,
Hmm. Curious. Let's get curious about that and we'll see where that goes instead of blame, shame, and shouldn't and all of that
yeah.
stuff. Should
I
and shouldn't.
hmm,
Yeah.
hmm. I'm going to share this with you because someone shared it with me over the weekend. When we clear things out, if we do not intentionally replace something in its spot, the world will fill it with the next thing
Oh,
that's not serving you because you weren't
yeah.
intentional about what you were replacing in that space.
Yeah.
And I'm like having like a full circle reflection moment over here.
I'm so glad I'm witnessing this. I love this right now. And I need to hear when you come to the conclusion, I need to hear about that too. Just
Yeah.
saying.
I
Just
love
saying.
this is happening during our episode because I don't think, unless you already hang out with people who talk and think like this all the time
Yeah.
because they've already overcome a lot of their stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get to witness, you don't know that this is normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I know. I
reflection
actually
is a key
I
of
have a meme
learning.
that, yeah, I put out a meme where it's like, oh, I started talking about, all this natural and all this stuff like this. And then I realized I wasn't talking to my holistic friend. They think you're totally crazy because you're like just went there. You're like talking about like spirit and cravings and all in like one breath. And you're like, what is she talking about right now?
I love this. What do you recommend to the woman who has identified she definitely has an issue with sugar and
Hmm.
doesn't know how to break the cycle? What's your blueprint for like starting to overcome that, Kerri?
Great question. So I usually start with the physical reasons for cravings, right? There are physical reasons. We're not giving ourselves enough nutrients. We're not, our guts all over the place. Like we have bad gut bacteria. We're not having enough nutrients. Our blood sugar's all over the place. Hey, what the heck does that mean? So there's a lot of education around that. And then once we remove the physical, right? Then when we're having a craving, it's emotional because it
Mm,
really stinks. We've all done this, right? I'm eating exactly what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing the things, I'm taking the supplements, and I'm still craving sugar. Well, why the heck am I doing it? I give up. No, emotional piece. We've removed the physical, and now we can really tap into the emotional piece. And that just takes a little bit longer, but that's okay because you're getting more in tune with your body. So I would say work on the physical stuff first, right? Really do educate yourself on how to balance blood sugar, right? Sorry, there is no willpower when your blood sugar is down and your body's like, hey, I need sugar because we have no energy and my brain is not working because it's 3 o'clock. And we know that the last time you ate a Snickers bar or drank that sugary Starbucks coffee, we got the jolt we needed. So let's just go do that. It's really simple. Like that's really just like the body just saying what it needs.
I want to pause real quick on that. The simple answer is always the right path, but don't mistake simple for easy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Two different, two sounds like they're the same. They're not,
They are
right?
not.
They are
It
not.
is the like too good to be true that feels really hard, that
Hmm.
like
Oh, yeah.
that's actually easy and it's like not serving you. It's the simple stuff that you're like, why is this so hard? It's because you're unprogramming
I
everything that
know.
you have relied on for survival to this moment.
Yeah. And it really is that simple.
And
It
that
can
stuff
be.
takes time and work
I know. I know. Time and work. We didn't say
and
willpower
love
and discipline.
and a lot of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
That came to me in my run this morning, actually.
Oh,
Today is the first time I've ever said that because it came to me literally this morning when I was running, which was everyone thinks that like they have to discipline and willpower. That'll be the thing that like the jolt you need to get yourself up and start thinking about what your options are.
mm-hmm.
But if you reach your goals out of discipline and willpower, I've always said that they're never your results to keep. But
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
it like went a little deeper today, Kerri, where it was just like those aren't your results to keep because you can't create something beautiful out of hatred. So,
Yeah.
yes, you may have had to hate everything about what you're living through right now enough to go search and start a change. But if you
Yeah.
don't learn how to love the person you're becoming and love the person who survived long
Yes.
enough to get here to make a change,
Yeah.
then it's not gonna
Yeah.
stick.
Yeah. Yes, I love the person who chose to do something different, who
Yes.
chose to be the weirdo that's not eating what everybody else is eating, right? That's using natural deodorant, like all the weirdo things that we're doing. I'm like talking about the farm down the street that I buy stuff from. Like this is what we
Yes.
all should be doing. But at the same time,
Yes.
like I love these choices. And if anyone's got a problem with it, oh well. But you gotta love that too. Love the
And you
choice.
gotta, yes. Yes. I was gonna say, and you have to let go of where other people are at.
Yeah. Oh God, that's
Because where
huge.
they are is not where you are. And they don't need to be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's your friends, your family, your spouse, your partner, like, as long as
Yeah.
they're supportive, then
And
you're on your journey.
oh, I'm so glad you said that. That just support doesn't mean doing the same thing as you.
Yeah.
Means being respectful and
Yeah.
honoring what you're sharing with them that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a client, she's like, my daughter wants to do this cleanse and I usually do it when I don't want to. I'm like, so don't do it.
Don't do it.
You can support her. You can be like, what do you need from me? How can I support you without doing this cleanse?
Oh my God. So,
Yeah.
so good.
And,
So many nuggets today.
yeah.
This
I
is
know.
one of those episodes that I'll re-listen to myself.
Yeah. And we could make it, 4 hours, but we won't. So people will listen.
Good. Is there anything that is on your heart right now that we didn't talk about that you wanted to share?
I think we talked about it, but I want to say specifically, ladies, it is not your fault that you're craving sugar. Do not beat yourself up at all. There are so many things you can do. So many things you can do. So give yourself some grace and yeah, that's it. It's not your
How
fault.
do they connect with you?
Awesome. Yes. I hang out on Instagram. If you would like to reach me, it's sugar dash underscore KO underscore coach. So Sugar Knockout Coach, or if you prefer Facebook, it's just Kerri Pagliarini. Best way
Cool.
to reach out to me.
If you're in the sugar craziness right now, go connect with Kerri. Go see what she's been doing. Go be a fly on the wall or hop in her inbox, whatever serves you best. Um, don't be nervous to connect with other humans in the world because you think that you're not good enough to be where you're at. And that you
Um,
have go ahead. I heard you.
no, I was going to say because I was like, oh man, you're so right. Like, I want to say this. There is no judgment here for me. Okay, I have taken candy out of the trash. Like, right? Like there is no judgment
Thank
here.
you for saying that out loud.
Because I go to networking events and right, and I'll sit next to women like, I don't normally eat like this. I'm like, I wasn't examining your plate. I'm not judging your plate. Like I have done. If you're worried about like a piece of bread that you're eating, come talk to me about binges for days. There's no judgment here. So you can't tell me anything I haven't already done. So please reach out to me and know that it is a safe space because I've been there.
Oh, so good. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing with us today, Kerri. And with that, that's Two Humans Talking. I will see you guys next week. Bye.